Hi submarine friends, welcome back to watching me build my diesel electric submarine. So I'm doing a project today that I'm not looking forward to, but all projects have to be done regardless of if you want to do it or not. So the sequence of events, what's happening is I'm going to make this part today, and then tomorrow or later today I'm going to move the submarine back over towards the wall. I only moved it out so that I could work on these valves on both sides. So now it can go back to the wall, and then I'm going to bring in the deck. So the whole deck is going to come in and sit right here where I'm standing, and I can install my, ooh, this is exciting. I got my new marker lights, my red and green marker lights, which indicate the direction your boat is traveling. So I have to figure out how I'm going to mount them on the dive planes. That should look pretty nice. And I have to fix the whole deck up, and I've got to make the decking nicer. The decking was pretty crappy, but I'll figure that out. Today we have a project. So this solenoid valve is what used to vent this forward ballast tank, and they work fantastic, they really do, but I don't want to use electric valves. I want it to be manual, so that's why I installed the valves. So what I have to do is I have to cut this lifting hook off, front and back, and I have to run a metal pipe. So yesterday I went to my favorite metal pile at the dump, and I found this nice mandrel bent pipe. That's important. I want a nice looking bend, because you're going to be able to see this. It's going to be just above the deck, and it's going to sit right here. But I'm going to get it as low as I possibly can, so I'm going to cut a little bit more of this bend off. And this steel plate, which I just dug out from under my bench in my other shop, is going to be the plate. So I'm going to cut a hole with my hole saw on the lathe. Bore a hole through the center for this to fit into, to be welded. So this is only going to be 3 inches in diameter. This is just the donor metal. And then once I've made this piece, then I'm going to drill this out, this fitting, and make it so I can bolt it down to this flat deck. Now, the reason I'm using such a heavy plate is this is only 10 gauge steel, and so right now it's not real flat and smooth and pretty because it was welded together, so it distorts a bit. Plus there's a welding bead down the middle, so I'll just grind it smooth. And because that's so heavy, I can bolt it, and I can use 5/16 bolts, and it'll bolt it tight enough to bend this straight, and then I'll just have a rubber gasket in there. Now, another way I could build it, and I could change my mind, is to make 2 of these and weld one to that, which has a nice beautiful face, and then bolt the 2 together. I may have to do that. I'm going to wait and see. I could also make 2 of these rings, O-ring groove, and bolt it together. The problem with the O-ring groove idea is this is carbon steel, and the O-ring groove will only stop water from touching the steel from the groove, from the O-ring in. So from the O-ring out, it'll rust. Because it's 2 pieces sandwiched together, it's just going to rust. So by having a gasket, it stops the water from the outer edge. So anyways, let's get started making this ring. Okay, so we're back here at my favorite part of the shop, the lathe. I love my lathe. Okay, so I have a bit of a runny nose, so excuse me. So we just have to set this up in the lathe. Hopefully this weld right here won't interfere, but we'll see. Gotta grab the hole saw. Okay, so That's the size we're going to drill it out, so it's not real big. I'm going to machine this face also so that it's nice and smooth to accept the gasket. Give a spin and make sure that we're clearing. And run it on a slower speed. And we're going to have to oil this a little bit. Okay, so there's the hole drilled. That went pretty fast. It seems like the heavier stuff actually drills faster, and I think that's because of the rigidity. So that's going to be hot. Okay, now I'm going to put this piece in. I mean, I could just cool this. Ouch, 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 ouch. Okay, so I'm gonna have to cool that part because I got a hammer. Just take. Okay. I should have become a machinist when I left school, because I really enjoy it. Okay, so I want to square this up a little bit. So now it's not a super critical guy, so I'm not gonna totally fall in love with it. So all I do is I run the cutter up to it, back it away, go to the next jaw, I'm not even sure why I'm doing this because it's really not that important. Okay, I can live with that. It's close enough. It's way thicker than it needs to be. Okay. Oops. Forgot to put it in gear. Have to machine it all the way to the center because I'm going to drill it out. Okay, there it is. It's been faced now. So now I just have to drill a hole through it. So we're just doing a pilot hole now. Okay. Whoa, that was close. It's pretty hot, but there's the piece. So now, let's go back over and I'm going to explain what's going on. Okay, so, mandrel bent piece. It's going to go into this. Oh, I got to grind it a little bit. This is powder coated. So actually I'm surprised how snug that fits. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do a little work to grind this a bit. I gotta grind that powder coating off anyways to weld it. So, this is going to get bolted on here. And hopefully I can pull that straight. If not, then I'll have to weld in a flat piece like I said earlier. Now, somebody commented, they had a very good question. Why do I not have my bilge pump so that it's on automatic? So when the submarine is parked on an anchor ball somewhere or at a dock, if water goes inside, the automatic bilge pump is not going to turn on. I can do that, but that would mean that this is where the water discharges. That means that, let's say, let me just back up a minute. Let's say this valve is open so that it can always discharge water. If this ballast tank and the back ballast tank was vandalized, some weird thing happened where the air all escaped from this tank or the back tank, the submarine will not submerge, but it will drop in height to the deck height. I have to then put water in the variable ballast bladder inside for the conning tower to submerge completely. So if this lost all its air, water would go into this. So that's why, well, there's two reasons. That's why, one of the reasons why I don't want an automatic system. Because I could actually flood the submarine just because I lost the air out of those ballast tanks. Or, let's say you're parked at the coast and a big old seal decides to slither up on the deck and take a nap. Well, he's heavy enough that he can actually push the front underwater, and then that would fill up with water. So you see, it's not like a boat. You know, a boat is a completely different thing. It has so much freeboard. This only has 8 inches of freeboard. And with a boat, there's many reasons why you can have a whole bunch of water in the bilge. Rain, through hull penetrator could fail, whatever. The rubber boot on the leg could get a crack in it and take on water. So there's a lot of potential with a boat to have water get inside. With the submarine, just by the nature of the fact that it's a submarine, water's not going to get in there because everything has a shutoff valve on it. Every penetration in this hull has a shutoff. So if I'm going to leave this sitting in the water for any amount of time at all, every valve is going to be shut off, from the fuel system to the cooling system to the water filling the ballast bag system, everything will be shut off, including the bilge pump. So that's why it's not going to have an auto feature. It was a great question, but you know, if you don't know about this whole freeboard thing, then you know it doesn't make sense. So hopefully now it makes sense. So there's not much time left, or no time left in this video, so I'm just going to finish this and I'm going to sign off. So ciao for now.